If MLB expands, could its 162-game schedule shrink? It very well might. This story by Jason Stark. He is usually locked in on topics like this regarding the league and significant changes. And we can show you what he's dealing with so you can conceptualize it. This stemmed from the realignment conversation when Rob Manfred brought it up. It just sparked articles. This has been going on for a while behind the scenes, but the shrinking of the schedule is interesting. Stark said one club official we spoke with casually referred to baseball's current 162-game slog as, quote, an endangered species. Another club exec said emphatically, expansion means the end of 162. So that's what they're talking about here. And here's how they would lay it out. If there's 32 teams, he thinks there will be 156 games, which is closer to what we had for a long period of time in Major League Baseball, which was 154. You go 12 games apiece versus the other 3 teams inside the division. That's 36. 6 games apiece against the other 12 teams in your league. That's 72. That gets you to a total of 108. Then 3 games apiece versus the 16 teams on the other side. And now we're at 156, and that's the number. And that would give you 2 series a week for 26 weeks, 52 total. It would give you an average of at least 1 off day per week for each team and give you the 156 game schedule. Now, it's something that's happened in the past. We had 154 for a long period of time, and then as we expanded, we went to 162. The article talks about $1 billion per year for the last few years of players on the injured list. But let's start with the overall topic of 162 to 156. Are you for it, and do you think it happens?
I don't think it happens. I mean, people have been talking about shortening the schedule forever, but I don't think it's going to happen. And here's the thing about this 156 number: where are they going to make up the money of the 6 games? That's and why are the players injured? Because teams are so non-hesitant to put guys on the IL. That's why they just throw him on the IL for 10 days. What's the big deal? He'll be ready in 10 days. Come back. It used to be you tried to avoid the disabled list. Now you're on the injured list all the time. People are like, oh, I'm a little bit tired. Okay, you can go out. You can take a 10-day vacation. That's the difference. Why they're losing all this money is because people are just more willing to go on it now.
Yeah, and they're willing to push the limits and throw their first pitch of the game at 100 miles an hour instead of pitch through the game. But if you look at the Padres, I think one of their large draws, they're spending a lot of money in a, quote, small market, is the attendance. They're averaging right around 40,000 at $107 on average is your ticket. If you cut out 3 games, they're going to lose $12.84 million. I don't think, because they get 3 home games and 3 away games is what they would lose in their schedule. I don't think you're going to find a direct correlation in your players playing 6 less games and staying healthy enough to let an owner say, yeah, you know what? I'll get rid of $13 million. No problem.
Okay, in the article, he said, can this sport create additional October inventory? Sure, it could turn best of 5 series into best of 7s. It could go from 12 playoff teams to, earmuffs for some of you, 16, which creates 8 best of 3 first round series compared with 4 under the current format. And he reminds us that during the last labor negotiations that were done in 2022, the league proposed expanding the postseason to 14 teams. Just like the NFL, it was rejected on the other side. We have obviously added a wild card spot, so we now have 3. We've got the bye, so we've got a little bit of different action than we saw for a long period of time. Could we expand that and make up the money that way? I actually think if we did expand the playoffs that way, I'm not saying I'm for it, but if we did, Kratz, you would make up the money. The playoffs is where the money's at. You lose a handful of regular season games. You can make up for that if you expanded teams and expanded series in the playoffs.
Okay. Does that increase competition? I think the biggest issue between owners and players is competition. Players want every owner to be competitive. If we let everybody into the playoffs, which I get it, I'm being over dramatic, and when we expanded, it's been great for the game, an extra series, all that stuff. But if you don't incentivize teams to be competitive during the season because Now a lot more guys get in. Look at who wouldn't be in right now if we hadn't expanded it like it is. Then teams will try even less to build their team because they're like, it really doesn't take that much to get in. And once you're in, there's no real formula to win, is what everybody says. So I am against that. And I also think the 162 to 156 is negligible. It's negligible. Cut spring training down. Expand if you really want guys to stay healthy, expand the roster. Don't have guys take such a workload. Maybe those are things instead of depriving fans of 3 less games at their home field.
FT fam, let's talk about Fair Harbor. And if you're listening, I hope that you watch this conversation at some point because we're doing show and tell, Kratz. Shorts, they can be used as a bathing suit, and the liner, which we call butter, is the game breaker. It's the playmaker because it's different.
You've worn shorts that are not like this, and the liner sucks. They are buttery on your butt.
I just came up with something for them. Your liner sucks. Get Fair Harbor liner. Seriously, give it a shot. I'm not just saying this. The butter analogy plays. And FT fam, you know we're hooking you up. fairharborclothing.com/foul. 20% off when you use the code FOUL on your first purchase. Once again, that's fairharborclothing.com/FOUL for 20% off your first purchase and use promo code FOUL. Having fan bases involved as late as possible matters. It's mattered a ton with even one extra wild card. If you had at least one extra playoff spot per side, look at how many more fan bases are excited right now.
And how many more teams don't try?
Well, you still want to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, okay, but let me ask you.
You're saying not trying hard enough.
It's got the Bulls every year. They make the play-in game. Are the fans excited because, hey, we get to go to the play-in game and lose every year? No, they're not. You want to have a legitimate chance to win the World Series, not just get to the play. Hey, we got to the playoffs. Do you think the Braves were excited for all those years they won the titles and they only won one World Series? Yeah, it was cool, but yeah, even the Braves fans stopped showing up because they got in so often.
There are also way less upsets in the NBA than there are in MLB. You have a better chance to make a crazy run. I mean, we only have to go 2 years back. 2 years back. Nobody had Rangers Diamondbacks meeting up in the World Series when the playoffs started.
But yes, I agree with what you're saying. But if that's what you're saying, you're defending my argument. Is organizations don't spend on players to get the best players out there because they realize that a team like the Rangers can make a run. They feel like the Diamondbacks can make a run. And now look, the Diamondbacks have spent money and they're not in the playoffs. So incentivizing teams to need to be competitive for all 162 or all 156 should be paramount in these contract negotiations.
I still think that if you keep more fan bases involved, it's going to make them more money. We've seen that, right? If we go to the older formats, I mean, you have fans right now that are still following what Cleveland's doing, what Kansas City's doing, what San Francisco's doing. They would have been long gone. And some of those fan bases, even the Rangers and a player on the Rangers and Josh Smith, thought they were done already, and now they're back in the mix. I'm not saying I want this, but just presenting the case that if you did add even 2 more playoff teams, the league has spoken. They want it. They want 14 teams. And that's with 30.
Why don't we just let everybody in?
Everyone in the playoffs? NCAA
Start the beginning
tournament?
of the year and say, we're only just going to do the playoffs because that's where the money is.
So you don't think this will happen? You don't think it'll go to
eventually
156?
Because the owners always get what they want at the end of the day, except for a salary cap so far. They've gotten everything else they've wanted, and they can do it without even arguing about it, really. They can just basically they'll say, we'll give up a salary cap, but give us 22 teams in the postseason so we can make more money, and you guys just get nothing out of it.
How about that? Yep.
Well,
it's all
players
posturing.
make more money if they're in the playoffs. Players make more money if they're in the playoffs.
No, they don't.
They get playoff share.
It's not that much, Scott.
They make nothing. I make more money in the playoffs. AJ does not make any money in the playoffs. Superstars
hell, you usually lose money in the playoffs from buying tickets.
Yes.
And a lot of times your lease is up for guys, and you have to rent a hotel. Hell, you end up losing money in the playoffs.
Then maybe you guys
win the World Series.
You guys should negotiate for more playoff share if they're going to add more playoff games and playoff teams.
Good luck.
Or maybe maybe the team should just not give away playoff shares. Anyway, this is a playoff conversation. We're not going to discuss that. Teams shouldn't go handing out playoff shares and then expect the players to, because it's the players' playoff shares, expect them to hand it out to employees that they promised them to when they hired them. But no, players like AJ, if you win the World Series and you make $400,000 in playoff shares, like AJ's contract, I don't do the math now, but it was probably more than $400,000 in a month. My contract, absolutely. That's a huge bonus. That's a crazy bonus. But like the good players who are actually playing in all of the World Series games are most likely losing money during the playoffs. So the playoffs aren't about money for the players. The playoffs are all about money for the owners.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the playoff pool, when you look at it for all the teams, what was it? 2019 was $81 million. So it's real money, but I get what you're saying.
It's broken up so much because you have to give every Tom, Dick, and Harry on the team a playoff share, and then you always forget somebody, and they get mad. It's just...
Well, that part's always super weird, and we've talked about that. I mean, those are team employees. That should be separate.
But here's the thing also you have to understand. So players only get part of the first 4 games of a 7-game series.
Right.
The other 3 goes all to the owners. Why is that? Players had to play.
It's a ethics thing because
ethics thing.
But that's why they say
that because it's just more money in their pocket.
Because then players, they don't want people to be rooting for more games.
When I was a player, I rooted for every series that I wasn't playing in to go 7 games because I thought I got more money. I did, and I was wrong. It's stupid.
They don't want the players involved in a series to be like, let's go 7 because we'll get paid more. I mean, I agree. It's silly, but I do think that I'll put it this way. I believe Jason Stark because I think he's plugged in with the league. So I think they're going to go to 156. They're going to go to 156, and you'll have at least 14 playoff teams. That's my conclusion. Agree or disagree, Kratz?
I mean, if Jason says it, I would have to lean towards agree. That doesn't mean I agree with him, but I think it could happen.
No. Yes, clearly you guys don't agree. That's fine. That's why we're getting your perspective here.